What is up, crypto world, crypto dunya, crypto community, twirled. Still can't get over the twirled. Anyway, all right. A couple of days ago, we were talking about a Phantom token coming out of India. So, I mentioned that, and next thing I know, everyone's kind of like on pins and needles, and they're just kind of like waiting for me to talk about it, about the ICO and crypto that's coming out of India. Now, I did my research on these guys, and I looked into it and all that other stuff, and reviewed the team, a little bit about their background, their experience, and overall what they're trying to do with the project. Now, one thing, okay, let's start talking about some of the likes and like the dislikes. Before I go ahead and mention, this specific token. One of the dislikes is the total number of tokens that are available. There's just a bunch of them. I mean, more than your normal, token. But one thing I've learned is that the amount of tokens within distribution, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at 4,118,000,000 tokens that are available. Now, these guys have at this exact moment a market cap of about 206 million, with a 24-hour volume of 25 million. Now, this specific token, that's one of the things I didn't like, but hey, I can live with that because considering what these guys are about and what they're doing. All right, now, another thing I didn't like is, majority of all of their PR, links on their homepage, they all work. They all go to the necessary locations, Forbes or, I think Market Watch, TechCrunch. All of them are mentioning this specific token within their articles. Now, I've spoken to a lot of individuals about SEO and whatnot. It's not very difficult to get into, having an article published in, say, TechCrunch or, some of these other, like, giants like Huffington Post. Give me $400 or $500, I'll get you on Huffington Post. And a lot of individuals do that just for the backlinks and things like that. And of course, the higher the page rank that you're linking from, the more, prevalent your application or your site is within the SERPs and the search engines. So, we are all aware of that. But one thing I didn't particularly like was, they were pointing to a Business Insider article which mentioned nothing about this specific token. That was the only other thing, it was like, okay, well, but the rest of them do. All mentioned like, prominent, like, like decent sites and, Forbes and whatnot. Okay, another thing, that these guys in specific, some of their partnerships, that they have already acquired. Some of their partnerships include Reliance Mobile, Vodafone, and Jio, right? Now remember, these guys are coming out of India. So when you look at like these three like cell phone providers and these three telecommunication companies, they provide the hardware too, right? So now if these guys are focusing specifically on retailers within India and they're partnering with these mobile providers, and a bunch of the Indian population has these specific mobile phones, because Jio came out with like something very, very cheap and affordable as far as mobile phones are concerned. The equivalent of, the Indian, equivalent of the iPhone is what, 500 rupees, I think it is. I might be mistaken on the numbers, but it kind of gives you a general idea, right? So now all these merchants are accepting this specific token, and the phone allows for this specific app to be implemented into their phone. And then you have all these investors coming in, or contributors, or whatever you might want to call them, because, hey, nobody wants to go to jail by saying the wrong word. Fucking ridiculous. But you have all of these like individuals that are like now utilizing their like hardware, and their hardware is compatible with this specific token. The remainder of really all that's basically remaining is the software that's implemented onto the phone, onto the OS system, and merchants that actually accept this as a utility token for products and services. Now, if you look at like like their tutorial that they have, online through their video. They'll give you a general idea, like, hey, you'll get a notification, hey, we got XYZ sued, closed, whatever, at this store, which matches, XYZ. come here and buy it. We'll give you 100. We'll give you a discount by 100 tokens. So it allows for marketability and things like that by the merchants that actually accept the token, and then like the cell phone and the software, it does the rest as far as marketing your product out. It could be somebody that's like like close to your house. Hey, you live right down the street from XYZ store. There's a deal on Unday and Dude. Go there, use your phone, boop, buy whatever. You can probably also utilize it to pay for the cell phone service itself. Another thing which kind of intrigued me about this, okay, yeah, there's a lot of tokens for these guys available, right? And today they're up like 8.5%. And I just spoke about it yesterday. I'm redoing the video because I was dropping too many F-bombs within the video. So I figured, what, hey, let's redo it. So that's why you don't see that one. So another thing with these guys is if you look at their token on Etherscan, right? Unlike some of the other tokens, okay, like like OMG and Pillar and Block Array, and I don't know, Heat, RPX, all the other tokens that I've spoken about. These guys in specific, they have over 60 some odd thousand wallets. Now, some of these other giants, we're only talking about like 8,000, 9,000 wallets. These guys come around 60, 70 some odd thousand wallets that are being created. Now, if you look at like the Etherscan address on there, right? A lot of individuals aren't picking up giant chunks. Like I picked up a giant chunk, okay? But a lot of the individuals that are coming from India, getting this specific token, they're buying tiny little pieces of it. 100, 200, 300 tokens, right? So what does that say? They're focusing on individuals that will probably utilize this as a utility token for products and services. Now you got those 3 major telecommunications companies on there, and they provide the hardware for it. The only thing that's lacking is compatible regulated software within those pieces of hardware, which is your phone. So at the end of the day, all we're doing is waiting for Ambani to say, all right, Geo, Yaga Geo. Like, Geo use my phone and Yaga Geo. Reliance is like, very, very Reliance, Geo. And Vodafone is like all over freaking like, cricket matches, all, banners everywhere, sponsoring everything. So the only thing that's really lacking is the software to be implemented onto this hardware for utilization. And now if they've already gotten the partnerships with the hardware providers, software is just a matter of creation and testing. Like I said, software engineers are digital alchemists. We create, use a bunch of machine code, and next thing you know, we have a interactive GUI, interactive page, and, we're making our moves and, clicking here, clicking there, entering in data there, blah, blah, blah. So that software obviously has to be compatible with, the hardware or the server or whatever, that it's rendered on. So they've already got that. The name of the token, okay, it's called Nucleus.Vision. Cats out of Harvard that are putting it together. Team is in India. Majority of the ACs. It came out as the Phantom Coin of India. At the moment, it is one of the largest tokens that are coming out of India. If they are able to, their ticker is called nCASH. nCASH. If they're able to accomplish this, now they're saying on their website they've got 10 retailers already, whatnot. But really it's just a matter of mass acceptance. So, if it is then implemented onto like all these Geo, Reliance, Vodafones and whatnot for utilization, the adoption portion of it should be very difficult. Considering the population of India and, most of European nations, China and, and like population in Asia, China, you look at India, 2 huge populations. Vodafone is huge in Russia, so Vodafone is mostly like the European nations, kind of like the AT&T of the European nations, which, as everybody knows, AT&T is a monster. Other way we look at it, they're either branching out, cutting this, cutting that, branching out into another technology, or whatever. So definitely take a look at it. It's currently ranked 102, with, like I said, 4,118,000,000 tokens. Current price right now is 5 cents. with a $206 million market cap and 26 million approximately 24-hour volume. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And it has been a rather consistent growth. This is another one, like I said, cup of coffee, whatever, Me, I scraped the cheese off of some of my other tokens that I've profited from. And if you remember what I said before, diversification is probably your best bet in this world. Of course, aside from picking the right ones. So with this specific token, long-term hold, I do see a lot of potential in it. It is rather at a very decent price right now, at like approximately 5 cents, considering the way that Ether is going. Ether is going absolutely insane. So if you were holding Ether about a week ago, right now, if you would have invested into this about a week ago, or if you held on to your Ether from about a week to now, a little bit of that Ether invested into this specific token is just pretty much like icing on the cake as far as fiat is concerned. It's free. You convert that same Ether into cash, you're going to get more cash, right? You're going to get more fiat. Cut the cheese, whatever, scrape the cheese, throw it into these guys. I do see this as a long-term hold, and I do see it growing significantly because of the sheer volume of individuals that are on this specific token. 70,000 wallets. That's a monster. That's a monster. Some of these other organizations, when they're launching as ICOs and whatnot, they're raising like 25, 30 million. Keep in mind, that's from about 3,000, 4,000 investors. These guys are about 60, 70,000 investors. That's huge. Check it out. It's called nCASH, Nucleus.Vision. Also, definitely check out Zosting.com for all your hosting needs. If you guys have any kind of like WordPress or, content management sites and whatnot that you use for, your crypto marketing or content management or blogs, or if you're looking to create an e-commerce store, or web servers, they do have everything that's compatible to create an e-commerce store as well, along with other CMS systems and whatnot. So definitely check us out, Zosting.com. The ICO is still live on Zosting.net. You do need MetaMask to view it. So when you get a chance, definitely check that out. We are rocking and rolling. Other than that, check out these guys. nCASH, Nucleus.Vision, ranked 102, approximately 5 cents at the moment. And definitely check out Zosting.com and Zosting.net for all your hosting needs and contribute to our ICO. Give us a shot. It's on Zosting.net. Cup of coffee, whatever. At least it will give us a little bit of momentum and let individuals know that, people are truly interested in our product. Other than that, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Until the next one. I am working on a couple of other Phantoms that are coming out, and some of them that are already out. Just waiting for the opportune moment. Pillar went absolutely apeshit yesterday. Again, I'm still holding on to Pillar. Going off of Cliff High's reports that it is going to be proportionate with Ethereum at the time that the Webbot reports came out. And according to Cliff, at that time, when the Webbot reports came out, we were talking about a 650 equivalent. 650, great, I'll be living in the clouds. But overall, I think that project is fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of the members in New York. Now, I don't know, who's arriving, who's showing up, who's not. I've seen a lot of people say, yeah, they were going. Now they're starting to back out, kind of like last minute. I'm going to be there regardless. If I decide to, stay the entire conference, then I do. If I don't, then I don't. But I will be there, that's for sure. So I will see you guys in New York at the Consensus, conference on May 13th, in approximately another 8 days. So next weekend, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, kind of meeting everyone, getting a little bit more insight into the whole tokenization. and what other products and services, and looking forward to meeting some of the movers and the shakers. So yeah, until the next one, take it easy.